All right. The afternoon docket. Unexpected, but here. You know, I will tell you, they told me that in juvenile, all the AC is out. And so everybody over there is sweating. So we may have not great AC, but at least it's blowing hot air. All right, the parties on Abel Gutierrez. All right, court is going to call 2023 CR 0221, State of Texas versus Abel Gutierrez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
Defense?
Stephen Harkowitz for Abel Gutierrez.
And are you Mr. Gutierrez?
Yeah.
All right. And probation, this is an application. Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for community supervision. Did you review it with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of theft under $2,500 enhanced as a state jail felony?
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow that agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea bargaining agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
In my opinion, he was and is, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Very.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. There's a $1,500 fine, no application for deferred adjudication, and the state recommends community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
It is, Your Honor.
Showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, the meaning of such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargaining agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There'll be 180 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those
Yes, ma'am, I
recommendations?
do.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
State any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State Exhibit number 1 with all of its attachments.
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Gutierrez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you
Yes.
understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We would waive PSI and ask the court to follow the state's recommendation in this case, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Gutierrez,
Yes, ma'am.
how old are you?
37, 38.
Wait, are you 37 or 38?
38.
Are you confused about it? Why would you think you were 37?
I don't know. It's just answered too quick. I'm sorry.
All right. What month were you born?
September
What day?
27th.
Okay. Usually sometimes people get a little confused when their birthday just passed or something.
No.
Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
11, 7, and 1
Where do they reside?
here in San Antonio, ma'am.
Do they stay with you or someone else?
With their mothers, and I get one of them on the weekends.
Who do you get on the weekend?
My middle son.
The 7-year-old?
Yes, ma'am.
And does why the 7-year-old and not the 11-year-old?
Different moms.
Okay. So the mother of the 7-year-old, that's a different mother?
Yes, ma'am.
The mother of the 1-year-old, is that the same mother?
No, ma'am.
So there's 3 mothers.
3. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any drug issues?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your drug?
Heroin.
How often have you been doing heroin?
I started when I was about 16, 17.
How often are you doing it?
Every day.
When's the last time you used before you were taken in custody?
The day of custody, the day I was taken in.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So gang affiliation?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
Oregon.
Okay. Active?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any employment?
I do cabinets, ma'am, custom cabinets.
And if you were released, where would you be staying?
My mom's house, 8218.
Oh, you don't need to give me the address,
Yes, ma'am.
but who lives at your mom's house other than your mother?
Mother and father.
Are they gang members?
Oh, man.
All right, how old are they?
They're going on 60.
Okay. All right, so here's the thing, Mr. Gutierrez,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'm going to just be 100%. Well, I'm always 100% honest. I figure we're all adults here,
Yes, ma'am.
and I tell people what I see.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then if I'm seeing it incorrectly, people always have the floor to tell me, well, Judge, I think you're seeing it wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand that you have a heroin problem. I
Yes.
understand that you use heroin daily,
Yes, ma'am.
but let me just tell you where I think your problem is going to run into.
Mhm.
You're active.
Mhm.
I always have field visits. So somebody's going to come visit your mother and father's house. And I'm gonna have you on GPS. So you're going to have to be at your mother's and father's house.
Yes, ma'am.
And your mother and father are of an age where they don't need drama and chaos visited upon their doorstep.
Yes, ma'am.
And because of your active participations and different participation in different organizations, drama can come to their doorstep. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. But like
So,
you said, I could tell you that you're wrong on that part because no one goes to my mom and dad's house. If that happens, they don't allow that. That's
well, I
that's
mean,
a big,
here's the thing.
big-
I understand the rules and that
Yeah.
people say they don't allow that,
yeah,
but things can happen.
I understand that.
And I know when things happen, people say, well, because you did that, this is going to happen,
Yes, ma'am.
maybe to you or somebody else.
Yeah.
But when you are involved in dangerous activities, at some point in time, somebody who's just the innocent bystander or whatever ends up getting injured.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just telling him, the people, have you ever watched a Lifetime movie?
Yeah.
And
Sure.
every Lifetime movie, you know what ends up happening? The person's friends or
Mhm.
those who surround them always end up getting killed or injured when they have those, those themes of Lifetime movies.
Yes, ma'am.
And so
You're
that
right.
could happen with your parents.
Yes, ma'am.
You obviously need help.
Mhm.
The only place I'll be able to send you to is safety. Because I mean, you have a heroin addiction.
Mhm.
And sending you to safety. And I want you to, look internally. Like I know you want probation. I know you want to get out, but you need to look in yourself internally.
Mhm.
Like if you go to safety, that's where I'll be sending you, get treatment, get out. Are the people you're around and whatever you're doing, is that going to result in you having contact with heroin and you end up back on heroin again? Because people will tell you, I believe if I were to hang out at a barbershop every day, just reading newspaper, talking sports with people, because I love sports, at some point, I'm going to end up getting a haircut because somebody's going to say, hey, let us just trim off the ends or let us just do this. And the first couple of times I may say no, but then since I'm there and things are going on, I'll probably be like, yeah, let's do this.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't want services to be just given. And then really it's just, I'm doing time and my time is I'm on probation for 2 years. So I don't know if you just want to do time or if you want to try probation, because you're going to be on GPS
Mhm.
and you're going to have to stay at your parents' house. And I'm not going to let you leave your parents' house. Is that where you're going to be staying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, I mean, I think you should discuss it with your attorney.
Okay.
All right. And if you want to discuss with the state, but those are my concerns.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think, Mr. Gutierrez, everybody will tell you, I look at everybody who comes in this courtroom as a human being. Some people went left when they should have went right.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody could be in your situation because of, I don't know, maybe their life, maybe the choices that they made, the choices that they feel they had no choice but to make.
Yes, ma'am.
So I look at everybody as a human being, but you need to make sure that you're honest with yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I can tell you, if I place you on probation, you are going to be on GPS.
Okay.
You are going to be going to safety because you have a heroin addiction.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'll let you discuss that with your attorney.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being honest with me.
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
All right. So who's here for jury trials? Let's settle this. All right. So who here has motions for their jury trial that they wanted heard? All right.
Well, the state has a motion for continuance on my case.
Okay. So there's a motion for continuance for you. Featherston, you have motions?
Yes, Your Honor, there's nothing this positive in it, it's just to set the boxes.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
In limiting motions.
Okay,
Discovery motion, just sign off and put it into the file. 612, 615 motion.
all right, so this is what we'll do. The people who have motions, if you will confer with the state on your motions, I know some of you don't need to confer, which is Mr. Kuntz. If you'll confer with the states on your motion to see what you all agree to and what you don't agree to, and I'll make the decision. What I can tell everyone is that we're going to start our jury trial actually tomorrow with voir dire in the afternoon, because I want everyone to have a chance to have their motions heard and whatever motions they need to be heard. And then I will let you know who's first, who's second, who's third. And so everybody will still have to come back tomorrow, because sometimes people say they're going to trial and then they change their mind. So if you all can confer on your motions, and those that don't need any conferring on your motions, the court will hear them. And if you all can just wait until I finish with Mr. Gutierrez and his attorney, then I'll take those up. All right, thank you, everyone. It is so pleasant this afternoon. It was chaos this morning. And Deputy Laura, we will have this solved before 5. Yes. All right, thank you. You're welcome. And Norma, can you check with Judy Wimmer? And Bob Hicks. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't see him. Hi, Mr. Hicks. Oh, and James Myrick. And now some of them, I think the MAC will help locate them.
Wait, so is this? Oh, I thought you were checking. Is this one Suzanne? Oh. Can I?
Oh, you're fine. Oh, okay. I don't know what happened on there. Oh, yeah, because it was on our investigation. So you may have taken stuff out.
I don't know. Okay. So, Mr. Harkowitz, are you still conferring? Are you still conferring?
Well, where, but I think I have an answer for my client. If he wants to just give the 6 months we originally agreed to.
Okay, I mean, I can change that, Judge.
Okay.
That's what you want to do, right?
Yes.
Mr. Hart. I'm gonna need you. So, You don't mind coming over here?
Yes, sir.
So we initial that country assessed 180 days. Initial right there.
All right, thank you.
Well, no, see, but it's 180 days.
Okay.
Doesn't reflect that on that.
All right. We're going to go back on the record in 2023 CR 0221. And Mr. Harkowitz, did you have a chance to speak with Mr. Gutierrez?
I did, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Gutierrez, it's the court's understanding that now you are withdrawing your application for probation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had a chance to talk sufficiently with your attorney about what you would like to do in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you need any more time to speak with him?
No, ma'am, that's fine.
All right. So I'm going to show you the plea bargain page. All right. And according to the new plea bargain agreement you've reached, you agreed to 180 days at the state jail facility
Yes, ma'am.
with a $1,500 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that what you wish to do?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. As previously stated, I'm sorry, and you're still pleading no contest.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. As previously stated, the court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 180 days in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. There is a $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing, the state will be giving him a credit for all the time he's
Yes.
already served.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question of what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Gutierrez, I'm sure your mom and your dad love you. And I'm sure there are some times where you've made choices in your life and it seems like you can't undo those choices. I don't know if that's the case for you, but what I do know, if you don't change your lifestyle, you know,
Yes, ma'am.
things may not turn out well for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Either it's the heroin or whatever activities you have, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And whatever you do not bring drama and chaos to your parents' doorstep.
Never, never.
All right, because they're at the age where they would like to, one, know that their children are safe and happy. That's what all parents want. And two, they want to enjoy their golden years.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so don't be the cause of them not enjoying that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And thank you so much for your honesty today.
ma'am. No problem. Thank you for caring so much.
All
Thank
right.
you, Judge.
Okay.
Rare. You don't get that too much.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Have a good afternoon, okay? All right, anybody else who's ready with their motions, I will hear them. Just let the clerk know and she'll have your file pulled for me. Deputy Laura, is John Wick this weekend? I mean, it's sort of like once you start a series, you have to finish it. You know, it's sort of like the Fast and the Furious, although, aren't they on like 13 or 14? How much fury and faster can anybody go? All right, could I see the people on Gavina Vara?
Yes,
Thank
Judge.
you. All right, Dinah, you ready? Court is calling 2019 CR 11408, State of Texas versus Gavina Vara. Could our parties announce for the record for the state
Jason Jorgens for the state.
defense?
John Coons for Mr. Vada.
All right, and are you Mr. Vara?
That's fine.
All right, we're scheduled for jury trial. That's jazz. All right. We're scheduled for jury trial today. Defense, you're ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor.
State?
Since Judge, we've actually just bench filed a motion for continuance.
Mhm.
As far as I can tell, it's our first motion for continuance. So we've prepared a motion in accordance with Article 2904 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure.
Thanks for having it notarized. Some people don't do that.
I wouldn't have, but Daniel let me know that you like it that way in this court.
Yeah, it has to be done. Thank you, Daniel Escobar, for letting him know.
No problem.
Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Okay, so your motion for continuance, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. So I know we've talked off the record this morning, but basically this case is heavily dependent, almost exclusively dependent on lay witness testimony.
Mhm.
There's a total of 5 lay witnesses that we would like to have ideally. At the very least, we need 2 or 3 of them to adequately present the case. The state has only successfully located 1 witness who's named in the state's motion. He's currently in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. That's what we were addressing this morning, Judge. I did call over to TDCJ and they said that they can be responsive to a bench warrant within 1 to 2 days to bring an inmate over. Yeah, so you were correct. It was faster than previously. I've been told it takes about 10 days to get.
All right, just one sec, did you get that on the record that says I was correct? Okay.
So it would be possible. It sounds like to get that inmate over to testify this week. But as I mentioned, we need more than just his testimony to adequately present our case. The other 4 witnesses, the state has made repeated attempts over this past about week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, to locate the lay witnesses. We know essentially generally where they are. There's 1 witness who's located somewhere in the city of San Antonio, 1 that's located in Leon Valley. We've been in touch with mothers-in-law, girlfriends, using social media. So we've made several attempts to locate these individuals. We believe that with another month, we could locate these individuals. So that's why we're requesting approximately a 30-day reset, essentially 4 weeks for this case, so that we would know that the inmate that's in custody would definitely be over here at that time. And it would give us time to adequately find the remaining witnesses. There's also, I believe, one witness is a fugitive for pending criminal charges. So we have the Bear County DA's office has a special response unit who can attempt to serve the warrants and our subpoena for fugitives. So we would need time for them to try to get that witness.
Okay, all right, defense.
Your Honor, I would ask the court to take judicial notice of several things. The first of which is the offense date of this offense is July of 2019. The indictment was rendered in October of 2019. Here we are towards the end of March of 2023, and the state is announcing not ready on a case that has been pending on a docket for over 3 years. Obviously, we're an objection. We object to this motion for continuance. We are present. We are ready. We are not waiving any rights to speedy trial. My client never has waived any right to a speedy trial. We believe that at this time that it sounds great and good that the state has all these tools in their arsenal to try to locate any of these witnesses, and yet they have chosen not to. This is not a case that was indicted last week or last month or even last year. This has gone on for 3.5 years. We feel like this is plenty of time for the state to be prepared and ready for trial. We understand that their office has gone through a lot of turnover, that a lot of prosecutors have come and gone, but that does not inure to their benefit. That inures to their detriment, actually. My client is the one who has had to withstand 3.5 years of this. And at this time, we don't feel like there's any justification for the state to be granted a motion to suppress. And moreover, Judge,
Continuance.
I'm sorry, motion for continuance. Moreover, Judge, we would request that you deny this motion for continuance and deny it with prejudice. They have shown no good faith reason as to why they're not ready today, other than, well, we just haven't found it, and maybe people are in San Antonio, maybe not. So at this time, Judge, we would request that you deny their motion for continuance and deny it with prejudice so that they are forced to dismiss this case with prejudice.
Right, so state, the court's question is, what happens, if we're back here in 30 days and you still don't have these witnesses? Is there going to be another motion for continuance file? And I know sometimes people can't see into a crystal ball, but I'm just trying to figure out.
There's no way to know for sure, Judge. My plan at this time is to try to locate those other 4 witnesses. Since, again, this is the state's first motion for continuance as far as I'm aware. So this first time that we're requesting continuance, we want the time to try to locate those other 4 witnesses. We understand that that would be a concession by the court. So at this time, our plan is if we are not able to locate those remaining 4 witnesses for the next setting, we would attempt to proceed to trial with just the inmate that we're bringing over from TDCJ custody.
Okay. All right. So that the record can be clear, the off the record discussion that was had with state and defense present. So there was no ex parte between the court with the state or the defense. And I know you all know that, but I just want the record to be clear. The court is looking at its docket sheet, and this case has been pending in this court, indicted since December 6, 2019. And I know there have been some discovery issues because we came back. I know Mr. Kuntz, at first you were not, I don't think you were the attorney on it at first.
That's correct.
I think you became the attorney, I think December 8th, 2022. After hearing both sides, the court is going to deny the state's motion for continuance. Is there anything else?
No, thank you, Judge.
Any other motions?
Would
Trial
you-
motions?
Would you deny it with prejudice?
No.
Would you? All right.
Any other trial motions?
Not from the state at this time.
Any discovery issues?
No, we've reviewed everything. We have no issues with regard
Let
to
me-
that.
Let me make sure that I have a discovery acknowledgement, because I know we've been here several times for discovery. All right, I have the discovery acknowledgement, and that was dated February 25th, 2021. So state, I don't know if both of you all want to make sure that there's been nothing that's been uploaded since that date that needs to be added to the discovery acknowledgement, and that's the last one that the court has. So I don't know if there's anything else that's been uploaded. And then we will see you all here tomorrow. Ms. Ferguson will give you the reset form so that he'll have it for tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. What time?
What time are we coming? Tomorrow, it's 1:30 for selection. All right. Anyone else with motions? All right, anyone else with motions that you're ready to hear?
Judge, may I approach for a moment?
Yes.
Judge, the state has not had a chance to look at my motions yet.
Okay.
Can we hear them in the morning? I think we're
Um,
probably talking 15, 20 minutes tops. After they've had a chance to look at everything.
All right. Is your client in custody?
Yes.
That makes it difficult for everybody. So if state, who are you conferring with?
You just finished a motion from you.
Okay. All right. I mean, we're here till 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff, Judge. You just needs to take the time to look at it. It may take you more than an hour.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Could I see the file on his client?
Is this yours?
Yes.
Oh, it's for Zoom.
All right. So, Mr. Shaughnessy,
Files.
yes.
2 files.
All right. And which one is the state going to be head?
Assault on the security guard.
Right, that's the one. All right. Are there any motions
Out of
that need
this
to be
one,
heard?
let me-
All right, then on this file, I don't have an acknowledgement of discovery. So if you all can have an acknowledgement of discovery done, and then we will be back tomorrow at 1:30. And Ms. Ferguson will give your client a reset form for tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it worked.
All right, Vernon Dixon.
Yes, sir. Present.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on this one, we were last here for discovery issues. Hello. So what is there still outstanding discovery?
The defense is satisfied that we have all discovery. I've reviewed it. Now I'm in the process of just going over everything with them. There's a lot of it, but I believe we do have it all.
All right. And has an offer been tendered or no?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset this is 30 days enough time for you to have reviewed everything?
Absolutely.
For
Yeah.
the state, yes.
At this point, I just need time to go to the jail and meet with him.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you give me a 30-day reset on Mr. Dixon?
That should work.
Norma, can you give me the week after April 17th?
Is that Fiesta or something? I don't know. When that-
No. Because 24th, there are no jurors, but we can do it in the morning.
That's fine.
All right. So on April 24th, what will end up happening is I'm going to expect acknowledgement of discovery and state for you to make an offer.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, Mr. Dixon, what will happen after the state makes an offer? Then I will give you a reset to make a decision on whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. Okay? All right. Do you have any questions about anything?
I will, if it ain't gonna involve me, like what my lawyer got going for me, is where I can get some type of help on my bond where I can be able to do my grandkids, my family.
We're working on that, Judge.
All right.
We went through a hearing once and we're working on it.
All right. Your attorney has to file a motion. And if I'm not available to hear it, then the person who will hear it will be Judge Nahara.
Oh, is it not on there?
Yes.
Oh. It's a no.
Well, I mean, he's available to hear
Oh,
bond
I
issues.
see
That's what
you're
I've been
Yeah.
told.
saying. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Jonathan Ruiz. Who's the attorney for Jonathan Ruiz?
That would be me, Judge.
Oh, hello, Mr. Hicks. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, court is calling 2022. Oh, I'm sorry. If you could, Mr. Hicks, this way.
This way? Oh, okay.
Your client in the center. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 10421, State of Texas versus Jonathan Ruiz. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
defense?
Bob Hicks representing Jonathan Ruiz.
Are you Mr. Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show you a document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Jonathan Ruiz who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2022 CR 10421 for the offense of evading arrest detention second on November 7, 2022 for a term of 3 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 1 on or about the 27th day of February 2023 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Jonathan Ruiz, committed the offense of possession of controlled substance, PG1, in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Ruiz, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it's to alter and amend for SATIV followed by aftercare and for the defendant to complete a cognitive behavioral program. And in exchange, the state's going to dismiss the number 1.
All right. And do you have that cause number?
Judge, I didn't have it when I walked up. I know Debbie's working.
It
Okay,
is
sure.
NIGMAG 701491.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks.
70.
01491.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Ruiz, are you asking the court to follow that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ruiz, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Jonathan Ruiz,
All right, so Mr. Ruiz, how often are you using drugs?
most of the time,
All right, so what are you using?
just ice and weed.
When did you first start using?
16.
And do you have children?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let me see. Yes, because I asked for parenting classes. So when you've been out, have your children been staying with you or no?
Same, baby. Same with the mother of her child.
Thank you for not saying it the other way. I appreciate that. So is she clean and sober?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to be involved in your children's life?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means you got to get clean and sober.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Child Protective Services involved?
No, ma'am.
So where have you been living?
On the street in a car.
Are your parents still alive?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm assuming they don't want you living with them until you,
To clear my record because he's a foster parent. So when I picked up my first charge, I wasn't able to live with him anymore because it's against CPS rules for someone with the felony to live with the
Yes.
kid.
so what are your plans?
My plans are to my stepbrother, my adoption brother has I just had got on the phone with him. And he just had told me that I could live with him. So I'm thinking once I get done with here, I go live with him and get a job and start working.
Okay. So other than this charge, do you have any other charges?
No, ma'am.
All right. So have you ever been in trouble with the law before?
Yes, ma'am.
And with what?
With the same type of charges this one.
Okay. Have you ever had any felonies where you've been in a felony court?
I believe so.
Okay, for what?
For like criminal mischief, burglary to a vehicle, and burglary habitat to a vehicle.
And how far did you go in school?
10th grade.
So probation? Thank you. Okay. Mhm. Thank you. All right, so it appears that you do need some help with your drug problems. Your stepbrother, are they using it all?
No, ma'am.
All right. So before you go live with your stepbrother, because I think that people bring baggage and suitcases with them when they go live with people, right? And when I say baggages and suitcases, I mean like problems and issues.
Okay.
So before you even think about staying with him or have you or allow you to stay with him, I want you to be clean and sober so you don't be bringing problems to his doorstep.
So,
So what we're going to do is I'll deny the motion. I'm gonna alter and amend conditions. Probation, he doesn't need an updated tap, does he? All right, so we're gonna do an updated tap evaluation while in custody. I want a referral to felony drug court. That's gonna be while in custody. And if felony drug court doesn't accept him, then we'll start off with SATF. And then upon release from whatever program, I'm going to want him to do 90 meetings in 90 days. Are you all able to help him with employment and perhaps have a place to stay? Yes. All right, so he's going to need help with housing, employment, and I'm going to need field visits. And those will be 2 times per month until further notice. And then he's going to need help with education. Here's the thing, you can get a job, you can work wherever, but you're going to have to knock your pride aside, right? Because you have to support your children. And when you're on probation, part of your conditions that people never pay attention to, because I never say it, but it's built into it, is that you have to support your dependents and your children are depending on you financially, okay? So you either need to get some sort of trade, or either you're going to find yourself just picking up jobs here and there. And when you don't have a background, and when I say background, I mean, you're not a carpenter. You haven't been working in construction where people need you for certain things. You're going to find yourself getting jobs that perhaps you don't like. And you're going to be in this cycle where you're living from paycheck to paycheck, and you're at a job where maybe people are not treating you as well because they say, he hasn't graduated from school. What is he going to do? Right? And you don't want to be in that position. You want to be in the position where you say, well, I have skills, I can go somewhere else. So hopefully you get accepted in a felony drug court. You need to be very honest with them and tell them you desperately need to be in felony drug court, because I know that their numbers are high and they have a limited amount of resources. But you need to express to them your desperation and that you really need it and you want it, because they will help you with housing. They will help you with employment. They will help you with your education so you can get on the right track. But if you go in there and you pretend like you don't really have a problem, they're going to say like, well, we have somebody else who can fill this spot. Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
And I'm sorry, you're going to take in consideration night mag number. Thank you. 701491. Thank you. All right. Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Probation. Anything else that needs to be added? All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. It's always good seeing you, Bob.
I apologize for getting here late. I did not, when I saw the notice about court this morning, I looked at it and thought, oh, that's the fastest return on a drug charge I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because the night mag is set for next week.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, this is obviously a mistake, and I wound up going to juvenile, and that was the mistake.
Well, they were telling me that the AC was down over there.
It's a good day for that. You know, I don't know. I watched the weather when I got up last night before I went to bed, and they said 30% chance Wednesday night, 60 to 80% chance Thursday.
Yeah.
No rain today. This morning, no rain today, fog. Well, I'm here to tell you what was hitting my windshield on the way down to
Was
juvenile
right.
was not fog.
Yeah. Well, you know, I left the house and I was wearing suede shoes. And then I saw the rain and I said, let me put on rain boots. But I'm excited for the rain because now my grass is getting watered.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
Silver lining behind every cloud.
All right.
Have
Good
a
to
good
you.
day.
Have a good one, you too. Caroline, is this on the docket today?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Anyone else ready for motions? All right, let me know. All right, let me see the file on Hickman. Deputy Lord, did you already send Hickman back?
He's downstairs.
All right, if you all have time, you can bring him up, or either I can let him know that his attorney is ill. Or either if you all can let him know his attorney is ill. All right. So Norma, let's recall Hickman. You're saying he has a sinus infection, right? Or ear infection and flu symptoms. Okay. All right, Norma, can we recall this at the beginning of April, maybe? Or either the second week in April?
Sure.
Who is this all criminal trial division?
Yes.
All right. State
Yes, sir.
on Hickman, which one will be trying Hickman? It's going to be reset because the defense counsel has an ear infection, sinus infection, and flu-like symptoms.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
Who will be trying Jason Hickman? If that goes to trial, it's evading unauthorized use,
I think ag assault.
ag assault.
Probably one of the Jasons. but
Okay.
I have been the one conferring with defense counsel.
All right, so what I'll do then is to make sure he's over everything, I'll put it on the week of April the 10th. Does that give everybody enough time?
That should be enough. Judge. Is that for trial?
Well, you all are not up for trial the 10th. I think normally is criminal trial division up the 3rd. I think y'all may be up for the week of the 3rd with Guzman.
Okay, so maybe the week after, probably.
Yeah. So the 10th, I don't think that's your week.
That's correct, Judge. We also have impact court that week. So April 3rd, we have the impact court docket, and then April 4th, we're up for Guzman.
All right, so the 10th, Norma. Yeah, so we'll move it to April 10th.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. Oops, sorry. Is there any other inmate that we haven't done? Can I see the file on Kilgore? And what's her medical issue? Ms. Ferguson?
She filed a motion for continuance, but it's absent. Send it back to me. You wanted it notarized.
Mhm. I mean, that's the law. Norma, it's not me, it's me following the law. State on Michael Kilgore. The attorney is out. Ill.
Okay, well, that's right. Check.
And they filed a motion for continuance, but it's not in the proper format. It's
Okay,
not-
if it's just a question of format, the state doesn't reject, I'm assuming it's the missing the oath.
Yes. Why they make us have to do the oath for that? I don't know, but it's required.
We're already answering the court. Yeah, I know it's in the statute, but
Yeah,
I know most judges don't follow that.
but you know what ends up happening when you don't follow that? Things can go wrong on appeals.
Sure.
So it's like, okay. All right, Norma, let's reset this and we'll reset it. Norma, let's do this for the 10th as well. Is that good? All right, so if you all could let Mr. Kilgore know that his attorney is out ill and we'll bring him back on the 10th. And if his attorney wants him back sooner, she can request it be sooner. Thank you. All right. Here we go. And then we have Mr. Meyer's client. Could I see the file on Robert Roth? Roth? I guess that's how you pronounce it. Thank you. My mom has already told me, hey, there are some people who are recognizing my color choices. She's always like, blue's my favorite color. I'm like, okay. Yes, Mr. Roth.
Yes, Your Honor. Making an appearance for Mr. Roth.
All right, Mr. Roth, come up. All right, and your client should be in the middle, and you should be on this side, counsel. How do you pronounce your last name?
Roth, R-O-A-T-H, man.
Roth? Okay. All right, so what's happening with this case?
Well, Mr. Roth, since our last setting, has picked up 2 new offenses of retaliation and evading arrest.
Judge, it's evading arrest and it's unauthorized.
Oh,
use.
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Pardon me. And which changes the initial plea offer that was made back in January. So I would like the court to recall this matter for tomorrow morning so we can flesh out the facts of all the cases, so we can perhaps come to a good and productive plea bargaining process, which I don't believe I have all the files that, and I'm just going to have all the new files that's come down to work out a good plea bargain.
Judge, 2 of the cases are still awaiting indictment. They happened back in February. I requested that the videos be uploaded and it's gonna be a process still to get some of the discovery.
All right. So I'm going to reset this for 30 days and counsel, if you want it brought over sooner than that, after you've had the discovery, then you can have it brought over sooner.
Great. He's remanded without bond on the indicted case.
Yes. A judge's warrant was issued because he didn't show up for court,
That's right. And
and we waited till 12:49 PM. You know
yes.
how I know that, Mr. Roth? Because I write everything on the docket sheet.
Yes, ma'am. I was sick, very sick that day. I called 15 times the court system, the prosecutor, DA's office, tried to even get a Zoom visit with you.
Mhm.
I tried to get a hold of my lawyer starting at 8 o'clock in the morning to let me know I was sick. It wasn't until 4:30 in the afternoon. I've got it documented on my phone, that's in evidence showing that I called this court, kept calling the court, the top of the DA's office, trying to get a hold of this courtroom.
Well, the DA can't give you a continuance.
I mean, I just went to the court system trying to get a hold of it, and they kept on, and I kept calling. I called all day long. I left messages letting me know I was sick and trying to get a Zoom. And I promised God, that's what happened. You know, I was literally sick, teaching everything. I did not know what I had. I called his office, and I finally got a hold of his office again at 4 o'clock. And I asked if I could get a hold of him here in the courtroom. They said he was in court. I said, well, I don't know what else to do. I need to get it to him. I need to get him. Nobody ever called me back. I have called, on the information for this court 10, 15 times, letting them know I was trying to get a hold of him.
Well, if messages here are saved, so they'll be able to look into it. But can I get a 30-day reset, Ms. Ferguson?
April 17th.
All right, we'll be back on April 17th.
We just asked the court to consider setting a bond. Yeah.
All right, file a motion and the court will look at it.
Thank you.
So we'll be back on April 17th at 9 AM. And your attorney can file a motion and the court will hear it, or either Mr. Nahara will hear it.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Right.
And Caroline, when you have a chance, could you have this file?
Sooner than later.
So again, my offer.
With the, okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, thanks. Norma, is it too late to put this person on the docket? It's this one. And see if Carl Alexander can come, because we'll need to have a hearing on that bond. And Norma, so the state and defense can be prepared for that. Tell them I'll need to know about her mental health issues. Oh, and just 1 second, Norma. Let me go out there with you.
Oh,
We're still here. I just- You didn't show the register. What it is. Sorry. Stop. Yeah, we're not gonna be out of here.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Right. Yeah, no, he was having on both cases.
Okay.
It's John Winters. I'll
All right.
call him back. You still want to review tomorrow?
Well, no, just let her know then that he's been hired, but if you can call John Winters and tell him we need to have a hearing on that motion,
For him to be here tomorrow?
if he's available tomorrow.
Where is she? She's on her way. She's pretty good ride. He's got shit. She's on her way from. I'll wait in the hallway. Over.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm not. It's just.
One of the points you pointed out is that you have to be on back. That's why I never lived in the whole run. No, she can get their haircut on Fridays. But I never would run into, I don't own a pair of jeans. I'm so old, it's running a pair of jeans to prepare, running shoes with the option ride. I haven't run since 1990.
I wanted Chris and his mom and Mr. Reynolds. I wanted.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Even Martha Tanner, she thought open toe shoes and sandbags not allowed. I was like last meeting to stop wearing camouflage. I know that it's something. I'll wear black tights or something. I believe that we should dress otherwise. So that's. But then again, I'm professional, no longer. Maybe that is so just. But with social media, I'm becoming kind of. Well, but I'm gonna. Put your laptop and the job. Jim Carney.
Legend.
You have come a long way, sir. I know a little bit about you. Yes, I'm a fan because I know a little bit about your history. Linda,
Yes, it was my daughter-in-law.
yes, she and I were good friends. She introduced me to Mrs. G.
Uh-huh. They both passed. Both passed.
Yes, yes. And, we would go there every year during the 4-day family law. And one day out of those 4 days, we would always go over there. And, yeah, no.
Like
And
your
I'm
artist.
sorry for your son. Allison. He was a true gentleman. Whenever he saw me, it was a hug. It was, well, he just had a smile on his face. See?
Last 2 years was really terrible on it. He had a stroke, 2 strokes. Renal failure, he had surgery. So it was, in a way, he had not been moved to for maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, it was, you know, people was cliche, but he's in a better place.
I know, I love my mom too. My stepfather and I dealt with a lot of those cliches and it did kind of roll your eyes, but that doesn't help me. It's like there's a book.
Okay.
It's okay not to be okay. It's written by a mental health person whose partner who's a swimmer in the and for the first time, she understood what a lot of the patients that we know. And she points out all of the trite things people say, they're not anymore. And understanding that this is a lifelong process, like alcoholism, drug addiction, it's massive. And not thinking that's over it on there. Fires. I think it's not over and and you, what can I say? I don't know. There's other people on the office. So I have to see when those phones just waiting on the other side. Yeah. But I never wrote to her. This is what we actually don't do that. Now when I see her, she's ready. I hope that father.
Are they from, was she from here? Did she go to school?
I don't know if she wants probation. She just stepped up.
Thank you. All right, then as soon as probation is back, we'll take up that matter. Judith Wimmert? Yes. Have you received the results of the scoring?
Yes.
All right. All right, and this is a sentencing.
Do we want to go on the record?
Oh, she's not there.
No, I don't see her.
Okay,
She's hard.
she'll be here in a moment.
She was the partner. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go on the record in 2022 CR 1800B, State of Texas versus Caitlin Martinez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Dorfman for the state.
For the defense?
Judith Wimmert.
All right, we're here for, and I'm sorry, are you Caitlin Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're here for sentencing. You entered a plea to possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1 less than 1 gram. And we were in the middle of a sentencing. And then the court had some issues and questions. And so the court wanted a TAP evaluation done and also mental health to have that done so I can know what would be the appropriate conditions for you. So state and defense, have you all had a chance to review the TAP evaluation and the mental health evaluation that was completed?
The defense has.
Yeah, Your Honor, we're training now.
Okay, all right. So want to start with, well, actually the TAP evaluation and mental health evaluation is really combined because I think all parties can see that maybe there's a mental health issue and the marijuana issue is helping with the mental health issue. But Ms. Martinez, you're not allowed to use marijuana while you're on probation. You understand? You need to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so when's the last time you used marijuana? And you need to be honest with the court so I can figure out what, Hmm?
3 days ago,
how long?
3 days ago.
All right, how often are you using it?
It was one of those pens.
Okay, all right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Caitlin Martinez.
All right, so Ms. Martinez, I'm looking at the DDRF and mixed screening results. And so I see that you've had some mental health issues.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So are you seeing your own doctor for that or no?
No, but I did go to the mental health so I can get a full checkup. And they said that they're going to refer me, but they haven't given me anything, but my phone numbers were changing and I wasn't able to keep, contact with them. But I have not gone back to the doctor.
All right, do you have a stable residence?
Not really. I've been staying at my grandma's
Okay. And where is that?
in Pearsall, Texas.
How far is Pearsall? How far is that from here?
It's like 60 miles.
Okay. See, I'm looking at people who grew up in Texas all their life. And they're just looking at me quizzically. So I feel fine because not knowing that and the answer to that question, because I'm not originally from Texas, but Mejia. Jorians,
I'm sorry, Judge.
how far is Pearsall from San Antonio?
You know which direction it is.
Okay. Daniel saved you. All right, so what we have to do is we have to figure out how to address her mental health issues, how to address the fact that she doesn't have stable housing. And obviously, she's saying that the housing is not stable in Pearsall. And why is it not stable? Usually when people live with their grandmother, that's stable.
Well, she is, she got in a car accident, well, an 18-wheeler accident. And so she's now staying for the appointments and everything up here with her daughter, and she's legally blind. So I'm basically house sitting so that way my aunts that are my mom's younger sisters don't go over there and tear it up because they are unstable themselves.
Okay. Well, at some point, you got to put yourself first. And when you're on probation, you're gonna have to put yourself first because you've got to make sure you do that's required of you in support.
Correct.
Probation.
No, I just wanted to refresh memory as far as
Yes, please.
the treatment is concerned where she was living. I think we were gonna look into. You guys were gonna, yeah, you guys were gonna look into that and give the court an update.
Yes.
Yeah, Uvalde was, I called their probation department and they really didn't have anything that would qualify. They use the same resources that Bear County uses as far as SATF, SafeP. So that they really didn't help us much. The problem with, I mean, I've known Caitlin now for at least 1.5 years, and I've seen the struggles that she's had. She has, pardon me, shit for family. They just, they're no help to her. They're more of an anchor. She had problems getting to court today because no one could find the time to give her a ride, but she's finally here. She desperately wants even inpatient training. The problem that we were addressing in the past was with 1 year deferred, where could she wait in line to go to that she could complete it within 1 year? There just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of options with the 1 year deferred. And we're very grateful to the state for giving us the 1 year deferred, but we don't want to set her up for failure. I think that was the court's biggest concern because at the original sentencing hearing.
Well, just 1 second. I'm looking at here and it's possession less than a gram, and there hasn't been a request for 1 year's deferred. So was it moved to an attempted or something else? Because according to the plea bargain agreement, it's possession less than a gram.
Well, or if you're asking whether it's I don't believe there's original probation, but we're applying the supervision for deferred adjudication. It's only
I do not do 1 year's deferred adjudication. So, I mean, that's not the issue. I'm trying to figure out, did you all want this to be something other than possession less than a gram?
No, the situation was this, the defendant was arrested and the vehicle that she was in had narcotics and controlled substances in various places. And we were able to narrow it down to 0.62 grams. Because that's what she had on her person at the time. So I think it did get reduced to a state jail felony because of that.
Yes. And you all below the line, there was no specific request for a length of deferred.
Judge, all I can say is that's what I have in my notes. No fine, court costs, 1 year deferred tap, and 150 hours of community service.
I just handed the state a copy, well, not a copy, I just handed the state an original of what the court has as far as the plea bargain agreement. And there is nothing below the line.
I noticed that as well.
But so let's start with, I'm not going to give 1 year deferred. At the least, it will be at 2 years, or at the minimum, it's going to be 2 years deferred adjudication. So do you have a place that you can stay in San Antonio? Do you have any residents here?
I just have my coworkers that reached out to my mother when I was in parole. That they took me in to get me on my feet. I can ask them.
All right, do they have any criminal history?
No, they have their own delivery business for the Hot Shot Final Mile. on Redmond.
I don't know, that may be the best place for her. And then you're on parole. What are you on? What were you
was-
on parole for?
The same charge.
Possession?
Mm.
Was it less than a gram?
No,
How much?
I think it was 4 to 200
Okay.
in 2013 when I got arrested.
And what were you sentenced to?
To 2 years. I did the probation, the rehab, everything until the 2019. I turned myself in and signed for 2 years.
All right, and you said you did rehab. Where did you do that at?
Uvalde.
And what type of rehab was it?
It was a inpatient rehab where it was like 11-month program. And they said that if anybody ever relapses, they do like a 3-month come back, and I never did that, but I signed for that 2 years, like 2 years after.
Right. Probation, do you think lifetime recovery would take her? They have lifetime recovery residential.
There are. Give me just a moment.
Sure.
I can actually call them. I'll give them 1 second.
And can you let them know about the mental health as well?
The mental health,
That she has mental health diagnosis?
what is the diagnosis?
Bipolar, PTSD.
Okay.
And then there's the methamphetamine issue.
So the lifetime inpatient, that's only for males. If the phone will give me about 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh. All right, thank you. All right, just have a seat. We're going to see what we can do.
Jen, would you
Yes.
like this one?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Just if you're
Oh, just 1 second. Let me send this email.
Oh, sorry.
Sure. Excuse me, Ms. Winter, how old is your client?
Pardon?
How old is your client?
How old is she?
Yes. So that I can send this email.
30, Your Honor.
Okay. Caroline, can you mute us, please? Thank you. All right. It takes, Vashon, it takes a village to find things. All right, we're-
Sometimes two villages.
2, 3. It takes the entire district. All right, we're back on the record. So probation was able to find the Alpha Home, which is a good option, and that's a very good program. I'm aware of that program. When I was a defense attorney and a prosecutor, I had people being referred to that program that I wanted to be in that program, and it's a very helpful program. But all these programs are not going to do you any good if you're not working the program and being open and honest with it. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you can thank Ms. Abrams for finding Alpha Home and putting on the thinking caps and calling people. All right, so this is what the court is going to do. Do you have any children, by the way?
Yes, I do. 4,
4? All right, what are their ages?
15, 11, 10, and my youngest turns 6 in 2 days
All right, and where are your children?
with my mother. The oldest is in Pearsall.
Okay. All right, was Child Protective Services involved?
They've already been adopted out to my mother.
Okay. All right, so I already know what happens when children get adopted to relatives. The parent still wants to be the parent, but you should know, and I'm sure your attorney probably told you, that if you cause confusion and if you violate whatever orders were in place without going to court to maybe change those orders, your mother could lose custody of your children, then they'll end up in foster care and they may end up with being adopted by someone they don't know. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Are you employed?
I've been working in Divine, like helping out the past 3 days.
Helping out doing what?
Remodel it's like a bar room, but they have a restaurant as well. And they're just remodeling for the bar to open up soon, but like in a few months, but it's a Sunny's restaurant in Divine. And then they have like a bar opening up, but I'm just helping out remodel. That's why I stopped smoking weed 3 days ago.
Okay. And you know, if you're on probation in this court, I'm not going to allow you to work at a bar.
Correct.
And felony drug court is not going to allow you to work at a bar.
Correct. There's a restaurant though that I was working like that I was gonna work for, but they said if I could, since I don't want to be around people, they said I can just help out remodel and paint and.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. There is a $0 fine. Taking consideration 2022 CR 1799B as in boy. There's $57 restitution to the Bexar County Lab for drug testing. I'm going to want a referral to felony drug court, a referral to Alpha Home. There's 150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. I'm not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do or you have, just present it and 40 of those hours will be waived. I'm going to want parenting classes. And once you complete those parenting classes, the remaining of the community service hours will be waived. There is going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. We're going to do random UAs, field visits 2 times per month. I'm going to want 90 sober meetings in 90 days. A referral to Center for Healthcare Services. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. And no employment with any establishment where their main source of profit is the sale of alcohol. All right. So if you're working at a restaurant and people order alcohol, that's okay. But if it's like an ice house, a bar, or anything of that nature, you can't do it. And there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. And probation, if she's going to have contact with minors, like for example, her children, then we need to see who the chaperone is going to be. So what that means, if you're planning on visiting your children, because I've done CPS cases and I know even though you tell clients not to do it, they do it. There needs to be an approval from probation saying that you can do it, and there needs to be a suitable chaperone. So if for some reason your mom says, oh, you're doing great, I'm going to let you with the children, and she tells you, I need to go to the grocery store, or there's someplace I need to run, just stay here for a moment, you need to tell her you're not allowed to do that. You understand? Now, once you have proven yourself and you have a track record, the court may change that, but for now, those are the rules. You understand? Probation, does she need anything else?
No, Your Honor, I did want to point out that we did get additional information. The alcohol wait time currently is 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
And she will be out of custody during that time. We will have Ms. Martinez contact the alcohol weekly to see if there's any availability before that time.
All right, defendant to contact Alpha Home weekly for bed availability. And you're out on bond. So what that means is you need to make sure that you have correct phone numbers where people can reach you, because felony drug court is going to set up an appointment for you, and they're going to set up it fairly quickly. It's Tuesday. If we're able to get that to them today, they'll probably be able to set up an appointment for you this week. So make sure you're available, because what I really don't like to see is when I get a report from felony drug court saying we've reached out to them like 5 times and they haven't returned phone calls. Because then what will end up happening is a warrant will be issued. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, probation, anything else she needs?
No, no, no.
All right, is there anything else you need from the court that I haven't given you that will help you be successful in this probation?
No, ma'am.
You sure?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, in this court, communication is key. If there is some sort of issue that you need help with, let your probation officer know. If you feel like probation is not being responsive to what you're asking for, you can come to court. Ms. Wimmert, I think will tell you, we're here from 9 to hopefully not 6, but we're here from 9 to 5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. I think I gave you one last
I think
time.
you did too.
All right. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. Okay, and then are we ready on Mr. Featherston's client?
Good, I'm sure, I'm still just reviewing.
Okay, oh, no problem. I just want to, yeah,
All right.
because I want to make sure that the deputies don't have to drive anyone back.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
All right, and then on your case,
I'm ready, I'm just waiting.
I'm still reviewing that motion.
okay, so if you guys review that, and I'll be right back.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Can you stop audio, and I'll be right back.
Looks like there's like a hole in the roof or.
There is, and you know what? There probably is a hole in the roof for the raccoons that they say they have on the other side. All right, I'm gonna let Deputy Laura and Deputy Mejia take him back because if they don't get him back by a certain time, then they have to drive over.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge.
No, it's nobody's fault. So Deputy Laura, you can take him back. You all continue to confer on your motions.
Okay.
And then we'll be in tomorrow at 9 and we can put them all on the record.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and sir,
I mean, I guess.
we'll make sure that the motions are heard when you're here, okay? So you won't be missing anything.
Better get some student back.
I'll try. Yeah, I kind of had trouble ending some parts, like a lot of this motion, right, kind of like a motion.
They have one here. Let me ask them.
It's not the same overall. So I-
Excuse me, Ms. Tibbs. Hi.
Trying to get out.
Are you all, if you all could, what we'll do is you all continue to confer. We won't be, if your case is the one that goes, we won't be selecting the jury till the afternoon. So I'm gonna need everybody in here at 9 a.m. And I'll have you put your motions on the records, and anything that you can't agree to, I'll make the rulings on them at 9, and then we can come back in the afternoon for the jury, okay?
Judge, just for housekeeping purposes, I think it may take us half an hour, maybe 45 minutes to get through the motion. I think there's gonna be some legal arguments that we're gonna have to make to you.
Okay, that's fine. So if everybody's here at 9, we'll be good.
I'm in the 144th for a trial too tomorrow. So.
What time is your trial in the 140?
144.
All right, they want you there at 9?
That's what the notice said.
All right, do you know if it's number 1 or?
I don't. It's a fairly new case, so I don't.
All right, well,
Just
well,
call them.
okay, this is what we'll do. This is the plan then. See, I am able to pivot. I learned that from you. So what we'll do is we'll take up Mr. Featherson's motions first. You can go to the 144th first, but just make sure you're here by 10. Because I'm planning to leave here by 11:30 because I need to be someplace off campus.
One thing that I would like to know, if we could, if I could go forward on my disclosure motion, which I had filed back in December, because there's some specific things that I had requested in there that they're agreeing to, that I want them to start working on producing. So if we do go forward, I at least have them.
Okay, I'm sure that they'll do that. If they don't, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, which one are you talking about?
Yeah, I just wanted the list of the witnesses.
So, Ms. Ferguson,
Yeah.
can you make sure her client has a reset form for tomorrow?
It's 4:30.
9, because he has motions.